Welcome to the podcast Living by Oak Values. My name is Robert and I host this podcast with my friend Gary. Join us today as we dive deep and share meaningful stories and discuss the values that help shape our lives. We will explore how we use these values to guide us through our life, influencing our decisions, relationships, and raising our kids. We are embracing a journey of personal growth and navigating our own paths. We are devoted to living by these values and passing them on to our children. We are thrilled to have you here today and can't wait to share our latest episodes. Whether you're a longtime listener or just now discovering us, welcome. Join our Facebook community, Northman Legacy Crew, and feel free to introduce yourselves in the comments. Let us know what topics you're most interested in hearing about. Check out our website, northmancoaching.com, and sign up with your email address for behind-the-scenes sneak peeks and exciting updates. We hope you enjoy today's episode. Happy listening. And the topic for today is faith. And on the back of the card, faith is a high degree of trust or confidence in something or someone.
Faith is an important value for several reasons: guidance and direction, resilience, community and connection, personal growth, emotional well-being, moral and ethical framework. It's a coping mechanism, good for inspiration and motivation. So Rob, how do you define faith? And how has that definition evolved over time?
Back when I was a kid or when I was first growing up, I always thought faith was like you have faith in God. That's it. That's all faith was. But as we delved into this topic and did our research, I have a lot more faith in things, or I do put faith in things. I question myself whether I should be. To the listeners, we're not necessarily going to touch on a lot of religious faith, believing in a higher power without direct evidence of its existence. We're going to talk about more personal faith, believing that things will work out even in difficult times without knowing how. Another thing that we're going to talk about is faith and trust. In essence, when you have faith in friends, it's based on potential. But when you trust them, it's based on their proven actions. Both concepts kind of interact with each other, but faith reaches beyond evidence, while trust is earned through it.
And this episode is brought to you by Northman Coaching and their Oak Value Cards. Are you looking for a little boost in motivation and self-improvement? If so, then check out our Oak Value Cards and empower yourself with our motivational and insightful core value cards. Enter promo code FAITH for 10% off of your next order.
So the first quote: faith sees the invisible, believes in the unbelievable, and receives the impossible, by Carrie Ten Boom.
I feel like that is religious because of the invisible and unbelievable. What are your thoughts?
It sounds religious, but if we could keep it more, you believe in something that's invisible, but yet when it happens, it's almost unbelievable that it happens. Makes you realize that a miracle, and makes you realize that it was almost impossible. And in my case, getting past the divorce, it was almost, I had faith in something. Talking to the guys, it's like, oh yeah, you'll get past it one step at a time. You don't see it. You have faith that the process will work.
So faith in the process.
As you're stepping along one step at a time, you're just stepping with a little bit of faith every day. You believe was unachievable, you receive it. Almost impossible reward that you've made it through the dark times.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Because you think about it, when you got divorced, it seems unbelievable that you could ever recover. But if you believe in it, I really think if you believe in anything, it gives it a better shot of happening. So the first bullet point we have is guidance and direction. Faith often serves as a guiding principle in life. It can help individuals make decisions, set goals, and find purpose, providing a moral compass that aligns with their beliefs and values.
Do you think when you go out and you work on, do you always see the end goal? Or are you kind of walking in a direction, having faith that direction is right?
Well, I do have faith that the direction is right, but I also see the end goal. I need to see that picture, whether it's a real picture or something I'm making up in my head. I need to see a reason to keep moving forward.
I don't think I need to see the end goal. There is a moral gut feeling when you're not going in the right direction. And you kind of feel off. Like something's not right when you're going in a direction or aligning with the end goal.
It's
So,
funny. On the last podcast, we talked about women's intuitions.
yes.
And what you just said about it feels like the wrong direction. I feel like for women to have that intuition, we have the moral compass, but we also have a real compass. Like we don't like getting lost. As guys, we don't get lost. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out. But I think you're right, though. If you're going the wrong way, you can sense it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Why don't you read that next quote we have there, sir?
Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase, by Martin Luther King Jr. That is definitely the way I had to grow in this men's work. Is I was taking steps and I had no clue I would be here today like this.
Once again, I agree with you. And I could not see the whole staircase, but I did have a vision of what the top of the staircase looked like. I couldn't see more than one step in front of me because I had no idea. But the top was peaceful. The top was my new world, and I had to get there.
In the next bullet point, we have resilience. Having faith can enhance your resilience, allowing individuals to cope with adversity, bounce back from setbacks, and instills a sense of strength and determination in the face of challenges. What ways do you see faith as a source of strength and resilience?
I guess having faith, knowing that I will become the man I want to be. So if I have that faith, that's my source of strength and resilience. No matter how many times I get knocked down, I get right back up again. I don't know how you feel, but like I know that I've been knocked down several times in this journey. I do not, and I will not allow that to stop me. And that's why I have people like you in my corner, and I have other guys and that I can talk to get through my down spots and come back stronger than ever.
I think that's exactly what I feel. If I get knocked down again, I'll get back up. And I may not get back up in the same way, but I'll just keep doing something else or find something else. It is a sense of strength and resilience. And I just know it.
So when you said that you get knocked down and you come back up, but you're not in the same way.
Yes.
I feel like that is why we have each other's back.
Yes.
Because if we keep getting up in the same fashion, we're going to get knocked right back down again. So something clearly went wrong to knock us down. We have to be aware of that and have faith that whoever is guiding us will allow us to get up in a different fashion. So our next bullet point is community and connection. Faith often fosters a sense of belonging and connection with others who share similar beliefs. This communal aspect can create a strong support network and a sense of solidarity.
Finding a community to connect with, understanding that we share a similar, not necessarily a belief, but a similar experience. It does help encourage the faith to keep moving forward. The best example I have is when we were in the mountain at Asheville and we were walking up this snow-covered mountain, like a foot of snow. I don't know if it was a full foot of snow. I'm from the South, so I don't
It was
measure.
a lot.
But all I remember is I took from that trip is that I'm walking in the next guy's step because I can see 2 or 3 guys ahead of me. If he falls, you know where he fell, and the next guy will walk around him. If he falls, you can see where he fell.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time I'm sitting there going, I'm walking in his footsteps. We're walking in each other's footsteps. The guy behind me is walking in my footsteps. And actually, for half the trip back, I was walking in your footsteps because I was right behind you that trip. It's just a matter of having faith that I'm following this guy in the right direction on the way home, and there's a guy behind me following me. So there's a sense of connection, community, but it's also having faith that this group of men are headed in the same direction you were working.
I have a few things to add to that.
Oh, okay.
It's funny how you have faith and you stepped in my footsteps. But what happened when we had faith on Mount Washington? We followed those few people that we didn't know. Where did that get us?
I got us lost for an hour.
To the top of nowhere to come back down and start again.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny. But the other thing that I think is interesting is that it says, connection with others who share similar beliefs or have a similar story. So me and you have a very similar story. We are part of a community, but as the faith serves you and you get stronger and better, like now we are not really part of that divorce community anymore. We are, but now we are 2 guys who who are on a journey of legacy.
Yes.
We are on a journey of values, of being the best human being we can. And with the divorce, for as far as I'm concerned, the divorce is history.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened. I dealt with it, and I recovered, and I've moved on.
Yeah.
And now I just want to be the best man that I can be, which is going to take us into the next bullet point. Why don't you go with that one?
Faith encourages introspection and personal growth. It prompts individuals to reflect on their beliefs, their values, their actions, leading to greater self-awareness and development. So, since you were talking about how we are growing,
Mm-hmm.
can you elaborate how faith has helped you reflect on your beliefs, your values, and leading you to greater self-awareness?
So having faith it started with faith in myself to know that I can overcome the divorce, overcome the challenges that I was dealt. And then as I got into different groups and met people, including yourself, I had faith in you and my other brothers that could hold me up and guide me to where I had to go. I found God. So and I have faith in God, and when I need him, he's there for me. And that allowed me to help me become the man that I want to become. But ultimately, it's faith in yourself. And every day I have faith that I will be a better man today than I was yesterday. And I still fall down on a regular basis, but I get up. I'm not laying down until I'm dead.
I credit religious faith a little bit more in my personal growth. I have become a lot more religious in seeing how I use the Bible to help me in actions, definitely my development.
And the next quote we have: to one who has faith, no explanation is necessary. To one without faith, no explanation is possible. And that's by Thomas Aquinas. So our next bullet point: faith can contribute to emotional well-being by providing comfort, reassurance, and a sense of security during uncertain times. It can alleviate anxiety and fear by promoting trust in a higher power or a greater plan. What does that mean to you?
I always tell people I believe in God because there is something you don't control in this world, and leaving it up to somebody else to control it much easier than you trying to control something you can't control.
For me, I feel like if you can't actually control it, then let it go. We both know that you are far more religious than I am, but I do believe in a higher power and I do believe in a plan. So things that are out of my reach but don't seem out of control, I believe there's a higher power that will assist with that. And it's nothing that I can do. As I grow, I can become more in control of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something so far down the road that I know I can't do anything about it right now, all I can do is control the baby steps in front of me, and that God will do his thing. And eventually I'll be where I want to be.
So the next quote: faith does not make things easy, it makes them possible. And that's found in Luke 1:37. We talk all the time at church about how God isn't Santa Claus.
Wait, he's not?
No, he's not
Whoa,
Santa Claus. So
whoa,
you just
whoa.
can't go, "Hey God, please fix me," per se.
Fix me and bring me a new Xbox.
Yeah. Some of the things that happen, there is no explanation how it makes them happen. Except, how do people get cured of cancer? It may be God cured them. You see?
Mm-hmm.
It makes it possible when there's no easy thing to make it possible.
But take religion out of it. Faith does not make things easy. It makes them possible.
Correct.
Now, if you think back, when my ex-wife left, I didn't think anything was possible. I thought so many things that were in the negative. And as I look back on it, I'm like, that was ridiculous. But I had faith in myself after a little while. It took some time, not long, but I had faith in myself. I had faith in people like you in my life. And because of that faith, it made where I'm at today possible. Was it easy? No, not at all.
Mm.
But it was possible. And I seized every moment and every day. And here I am.
Yeah.
Because of faith.
And actually, you're tying into our next bullet point. Faith often provides a foundation for moral and ethical behavior. It guides individuals to making choices that align with their values and contribute to just and a compassionate society. How we use this in today's society.
If you're still listening, make sure you're sitting down for this part.
Yeah, how does faith work? And I told Gary, I was like, hey, I have to have faith in the school system because I send my daughter to school to teach her enough to get her a job. We live in a city with police officers that you have to have faith that they're upholding the law. And I even was like, Gary, I can't believe it, but I saw in the news where a postman was throwing mail into a dumpster. I had faith in the post system that when I put a mail in the mailbox, it was going to be delivered. Why is faith important in your society?
So I do not know how to answer that, honestly, after what you just said and we discussed yesterday. So I am a mailman. That's my day job. And I know for sure that and I hope this doesn't hurt my job, or I have no faith in the mail system. I get mail on a regular basis that comes from one part of the country to another part, like California to Wisconsin, and somehow it ends up in Rhode Island. How does that happen? I have no idea. You said you saw in the news a mailman throwing mail in the dumpster. I've seen Seinfeld episode where Kramer wants to unsubscribe from the mail because it never, ever stops. It's a pretty funny episode if you haven't seen it. So Kramer tries to unsubscribe from the mail by like filling his mailbox with bricks. Plenty of mailmen throw it in the sewer. Or my favorite is they don't want to deliver it, so they save it and throw it in their trunk. And then they throw it in the trash bags and they save it in their garage. Forget about the mail. We also have the government.
Yes.
You're supposed to have faith in the government.
Yes.
And I know the post office is a government thing, but the government has been broken for a very long time. But yet we all have faith. Majority of us are going to go out and vote, but we're voting for a system that is broken.
Correct.
We send our kids to school, and I know for a fact that they learn far more than what I learned when I was in school. But they also learn a lot of things that I personally don't believe are necessary or important for becoming a better person in society.
Well, not only that, what about trusting that schools are safe? How many school shootings have you seen lately?
Schools are not safe. And we can even get into that. My daughter is in 7th grade, and they have school shooter drills on a regular. I have no idea what that is. That scares me. That gives me anxiety. Now, I remember when I was a kid, and looking back, it's a little ridiculous, but we would have to hide under our desks for air raid drills or something, which made sense. The desks were metal, and they would protect you from a missile, right? Sure. It made sense in a 6-year-old brain. But even then, that's not safe. There's no faith in that. That's just makes you feel good for the moment.
Yes.
And it did. It made me feel good for the moment. So faith in society, that's a really tough thing because a lot of society is broken. And then if you want to get into religion, that's all faith based on stuff that you can't see, stuff that's not proven. There's nothing wrong with that. But so we have faith in things that we have no idea about and faith in things that are completely broken.
But that is faith. What's the difference between faith and trust? Trust has to be proven.
I guess, I think I just have faith, or it's almost a hope, but I guess faith that things will get better. That's all I can have faith in. I mean, I know they're broken. Yeah. But what are my options? So faith combined with a moral and ethical framework enables believers to reflect on their actions deeply and to make choices that truly resonate with their spiritual and personal convictions. It bridges the gap between belief and behavior, enhancing the value and impact of one's faith in everyday life.
In times of grief or loss, hardship, faith can serve as a powerful coping mechanism. It provides solace and support, helping individuals navigate their emotions and find meaning in their experience. I agree. I think this is where I've used faith recently the most, hardest.
I feel like this is faith in religion, though. Well, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking, it can go both ways. So when I got divorced, I had to have faith that I would get back on top, that I would be okay. And it worked. But like right now, I have a family member who's ill. Me and my whole family, we've been praying nonstop and, looking to God, asking why or please help. I still feel like the coping mechanism is more spiritual than personal. With my relative, my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do, but I can pray. I can hope and pray every day. And that's all I can do. So I feel like by praying, I'm doing something.
And I feel that's a lot of the reasons why people do turn to prayer.
Mm-hmm.
How religious faith kind of works is that you're the kid asking your father to handle it for you.
Right.
So it's kind of like a little girl going to their father and saying, "Hey, Dad, can you handle this? Because I'm not capable of handling it.
Yeah, you're very right. I mean, I think our kids actually have a lot of faith in us. I just saw a video. I think I put it on the North Band page, the crew page. Who was the guy from Virginia?
Nick Freitas, yes.
Nick Frias. He said that, your kids or your daughter do not want to see you fight their boyfriends or husbands, but they want to know that you will if you have to. They want to have faith that you will protect them when the time comes. They don't need to see it, but they need to know that you are there.
Perfect quote is by Kathleen Pulsifer, that faith is unseen, but it's felt. Faith is strength when we feel we have none, and faith is hope when all seems lost.
That's true, and that's deep.
And it really does say the fact that there is something about just, it's there, you feel it, but yet sometimes you can't do anything about it. Sometimes you just have to have faith in something that is not there.
Faith can inspire individuals to take action, pursue their dreams, and strive for betterment. It motivates people to contribute positively to their communities and the world at large.
Faith is not the belief that God will do what you want. It is the belief that God will do what is right, by Max Lucado.
It's funny that you say that with that quote, because before I did any of this work, but as an adult, I would ask God for things. Make my day better, or, man, I hope that girl talks to me. Please, God, let this work. And, God never answered that prayer, and I don't know why. As I understand faith and religion and all that stuff, that quote makes sense. He's not always going to do what you want, but he'll do what's right.
I was having a conversation with my daughter today about faith in God. And our church was like really encouraging people to have more conversations with your kid about God, because one, the school isn't going to talk about God at all. So on the way to school, we're talking about it. And I said, do you understand you do need to pray to God, but God isn't going to answer, give me good grades. I said, it doesn't really work that way. He's not a genie in a bottle. Please help me handle the stress. And he may not handle it the way you want it handled. And he actually might be a couple days before he handles it, but then he might turn around and find a way to take that stress off your plate. But there has to be a little bit of your work, and there has to be a little bit of belief that he will do it in his own way.
I believe it's a little more than a little work on your part.
Yeah.
If you're sitting around doing nothing but asking God for favors or whatever, why would anybody do anything for you? I'm sure that I asked God to help me when I was down at the bottom. Did he just make things better? No. Did I find you? Yes. Did I find books that helped me get better? Yes. Was that him answering my prayers? I believe it was. He made a path, but it was on me to find that path and walk it.
This brings us to the next topic. And this is one that I was also discussing with my daughter. What if God doesn't answer the prayer that you ask? Do you lose trust in him?
I'm not sure. What was your answer to her? Or what was her answer to you?
Just like you may lose trust in me, because there's going to be things that I do that you don't like, or I break your trust. But you need to have faith that I am doing the best I can to look out for who you are becoming. And as long as you have faith that I'm looking out for you, I can rebuild that trust later on.
So based on that, I guess, if God doesn't answer a prayer, I don't lose trust. I actually, maybe when I was younger, I would lose trust. Maybe. I couldn't tell you for sure. But I think that if I ask for something or pray for something now and it doesn't pan out, there's a reason behind it. I have faith that there's a better reason for him not answering that prayer.
Could be. Yeah.
I mean, I've asked him to win the lotto for me. It hasn't happened yet. But in turn, instead of winning the lotto, I have a job.
Yes.
And that builds character. Based on we just talked about there, how do you have faith after trust is broken?
That one's hard.
Yes, it is. And it's going to get harder.
I can't tell you like there's an easy way to build it, because there have been plenty of things that have broken my trust. And in some occasions, I did lose faith in the system. In some cases, I just had to learn that that's how the world works. And I had to have faith in the system no matter what. Like marriage. After divorce, you lose faith in the marriage process, in the whole marriage system, the whole caboodle.
And this was a discussion we had last night.
Yes.
So did you lose faith in your ex-wife, or did you lose faith in marriage?
in both, actually. But I'm working to rebuild my faith in marriage, but I don't know that I can ever get back the faith to my ex.
Okay. So I still have a relationship with my ex-wife. I guess I lost faith in her word because technically when we got married, it was death do us part. But I also understand why we ended our marriage. And I'm okay with that. As far as marriage system goes, I have no faith in it. I don't believe that I could rebuild that faith. Assuming that marriage is something that God intended, we as human beings have completely twisted it. There's so many things that are just wrong with marriage and the way it ends. And it can happen to the best person or the worst person.
And to the listeners out there, do you have trouble having faith after the trust has been broken? Rebuilding faith after trust has been broken can be incredibly challenging, and it's perfectly normal to feel hesitant or even skeptical. But faith, whether in yourself or others or in something greater, is resilient and can grow back, often stronger than before. And here are a list of some gentle steps to help you rebuild faith after the trust has been lost. Acknowledge the hurt and take time to heal. Separate from blind trust. Reconnect with your core beliefs and values. Cultivate self-trust first. Allow yourself to open up slowly. Focus on the future and not the past. Embrace forgiveness as part of the healing, but not forgetting. And lean on a source of faith outside of the situation.
Rebuilding faith is a journey, and it can be fragile at first. But with each step, you regain a little bit of hope. And over time, you'll find that faith feels both genuine and resilient. Remember, your faith in yourself is a powerful guide, and it's more than enough to lead you forward.
And if you would like to go further or deeper on the topic of faith, reach out to us. We want to know you and hear your powerful story. Chat or connect with us by booking your free session on our website, northmancoaching.com. And folks, that's a wrap on today's episode, and of course, thank you all out there for listening. We're so glad you could join us today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, Living by Oak Values. And if you feel generous, leave us a review. It really helps us and keeps these conversations going. For more updates and exclusive content, join our Facebook group, Northman Legacy Crew. Follow us on YouTube and TikTok, or visit our website, northmancoaching.com. And we'll be back next week with another exciting episode that you don't want to miss. Until then, keep discussing your values and embracing the journey. Take care and stay authentic.